Welcome to APCUG's Wednesday workshop, where we get together in the middle of the week and learn more about technology. At all of our workshops, we learn things. Some of our presentations, we learn it and we know it. But there's one topic that we have covered year after year after year, and many times maybe during a year. And that's the topic of cybersecurity, security protection, and whatever. We learn about what we need to do. The problem is, once we know what to do, the bad guys have to say, well, we got to do something else. So this topic keeps changing all the time. And so we say, anytime we can get new material to share, we need to, because it's an ever-changing subject. And we are so happy to have back with us, and she's been here before. She gives us a wealth of information, and we're so excited to cap off this 2025 year with her. Gema de la Heras is a bilingual consumer education specialist in the FTC's Division of Consumer and Business Education, where she works on outreach projects to inform, educate consumers about bad business practices, how to spot and avoid fraud. She also authors consumer alerts on the latest scams and has over 15 years of experience in consumer education roles. Before joining the FTC, Gema worked as a television producer with Univision 41 News and later as a public information officer with the New Jersey Division of Consumer Affairs. She's back with us today to tell us how we can be protected and safe when we do things online and on the internet. So Gema, thank you for joining us again. I'll turn it over to you.
Okay. Sorry about that. Couldn't unmute myself, but now I got control again. Thank you for the introduction, John, and it's really great to be back. If you bear with me, I'm just going to quickly share my screen so that you can hopefully see the presentation. All right, just taking a second. Here we go. All right. I think you're able to see the screen now, right?
We see the screen plus your notes.
Oh, that should not happen. Here we go. All right.
Try again.
Yeah, let me try that again. Let's try this. All right. All right. Okay, let's do this.
Okay, that's the screen with no notes. Oh, that's your background. Hey, that's it. We're
Perfect. Good. Okay. Thank you for that. I appreciate the heads up. And now, well, you heard John introduced me. I'm Gema de las Heras, and some of you might remember that I work for the Federal Trade Commission, and many of you already likely know that the FTC works to stop fraud, deception, and unfair business practices through law enforcement, education, and also outreach that includes partnerships and outreach presentations with groups such as yourself, such as the Association of Personal Computer User Groups. Now, before we go any further, I want to tell you how much I appreciate the opportunity to join you today to talk about how scammers posing as government agencies or well-known businesses are increasingly going after retirees' life savings. Knowing how a scam works can help you recognize the signs of a scam. So I'm going to start by explaining how scammers are targeting people's life savings. I'll tell you about a few other scams that you might encounter this season. I'll share advice and free FTC resources to help you and others spot and avoid scams. And I'm going to also cover identity theft, how to protect yourself, and what to do if it happens to you. So let's get started on that. Last week, the FTC issued its annual report to Congress on the agency's actions to protect older adults. I can share a link to the full report if you're interested in reading it later. It's quite long, but I'll tell you that the data shows that reports of losses to businesses and government imposters have just skyrocketed. And the reports that are filed by older adults, and those, we consider those 60 years old or older. And like I said, those reports are soaring. Scammers are telling all kinds of lies about some sort of bogus crisis. And then they trick people. In many of them are older adults, but not all of them. They trick them into giving them tens and even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Reported losses, like I said, have skyrocketed from about 600 million. It's so much money, it's even hard to say it. So we started with about 600 million in losses in 2020, and it's now up to $2.4 billion in 2024. So this increase was largely driven by reports of individual losses of over $100,000. So those are individuals, one person losing over $100,000. But of course, the data only tells us one part of the story. So the stories that we hear from the community, our own investigations and experience tell us the other part. And that's what we're going to dive into and how this is happening. So these scams start with lies that are designed to create a sense of urgency and fear. And you'll see on the screen some examples of the lies that scammers will tell you. They might pretend to be a bank employee with a warning about some suspicious account activity, or claim to be an Amazon representative following up on potential fraudulent purchases. They also might say that they're with the government and tell you that your social security number is linked to serious crimes. All of this, of course, again, to scare you. Or scammers might say that there's a security problem and with your computer. And this type of lie might start with some sort of pop-up on your computer screen that says that, your computer has been hacked, or there's a problem with your computer, and there's a phone number to call for help. Of course, that's not a number that you should be using to call for help. But let me show you a visual of how this type of scam progresses. So after scaring you into thinking that your money is not safe, with all those lies that they tell you, their scammers are going to connect you with someone else to supposedly help you move your money to, quote unquote, protect it. They might say that they're connecting you with the Social Security Administration or with the FBI, or even with one of us here at the FTC. But it's a lie. This supposed helper who claims to work for the government is really a scammer, and they're just trying to steal your money. Next, I'm going to show you some of the things that they might say. Things like put your money in a secure account to protect it, or maybe they'll instruct you to get cash, and then they're going to tell you that they're going to send a driver to pick it up. Maybe they'll tell you to buy gold, and then again, a driver might come and pick it up. So all of these instances are scams. And if you're asking yourself, well, how can I tell that this is a scam? Well, it's simple. The moment that they tell you that you have to move your money to protect it, and then take it out of your bank account, your investment or retirement account. And they tell you how you have to do this, how you have to move this to a different place to protect it. That's likely a scam because no one from the government is ever going to tell you that. So now let's talk about how to protect yourself and your savings from this type of scam. Never transfer or send money, cryptocurrency, cash, or gold to someone that you don't know in response to an unexpected call or a text message or an email, even if they claim that they're moving your money to protect it. That's, again, a lie. So that's one way to spot it. And talk about it with someone that you trust, especially if the stranger on the phone says that it's serious, that it involves a crime, or claims to be from the government. If you think the message could be real, verify the story. Contact the organization in question and use a number to contact them that you know it's real, or a website or an email address. Don't use the contact information in this unexpected message that you get. And I'm going to tell you more in a couple of minutes about having an action plan so you know what to say or what to do if you find yourself in this situation. But you can learn more about this and other type of imposter scams by going to the link there is ftc.gov/imposters. If you're not able to write down all this information, don't worry about it. I'm going to share this presentation, the slides with Judy and John so they can share that information with you. But before we move on, let me go over a few more things that you can do to, again, protect yourself. Many scams start with a phone call. So to slow down some of these unwanted calls that lead straight to scams, and we're all getting those, right? Number one is to register your phone number with the National Do Not Call Registry at ftc.gov/do not call. This is likely going to cut down on the number of unwanted calls that you get. Unfortunately, it's not going to stop all the calls. Scammers might still try to reach you, and there are some organizations that are exempt and some groups that are allowed to call you. Also, use your phone's built-in features. Many cell phones already have settings that let you block certain calls from specific numbers or send certain calls straight to voicemail, especially if they come from a phone number that you don't recognize. Find out what the call blocking or call labeling services your phone company offers, and you can contact your phone company's customer service using, of course, a phone number that you know is right. And to get more details, infographics, and video on how you can set up to block unwanted calls on your phones, you can go to ftc.gov/calls. Now I'm going to shift gears a little bit. And as you know well, scams also start online, with scammers sometimes impersonating real companies. They often will have ads for brand name products, and they have them at very, very low prices, unusually low prices. Especially this happens on social media a lot. But if you click the link on the ad, it could send you to a scammy website that is designed to just take your money in exchange, sometimes for a counterfeit goods. Sometimes they'll send you something that looks completely different from what you were intending to order. And sometimes you get nothing at all. So there's some ways that you can protect yourself against this type of scam when you're shopping online, especially during the holidays, but also year round. Now, before you buy, always do a search online for the seller's name or the website, and add to that search. So you have the name of the seller or the website and words like review, complaint, or scam, and see what other people are saying about this site or about this product. You might find out that there are other people sharing good or bad experiences. So that might give you some leads. Something else to do is to always pay by credit card. Anytime you're able to do that, that's going to offer you more protections. If there's a problem, you can dispute the charge if something goes wrong. If there are any sellers out there that you're dealing with that they tell you that you can only pay with a gift card or cryptocurrency or a payment app, that's probably a scam. If that's the only form of payment they accept, that's a red flag. Also, keep your receipt, an order confirmation number, any information about the transaction to help you get the money back from the seller if there's a problem. And December is also when a lot of people are donating to charities. Unfortunately, not everyone asking for money is a real charity. So to make sure that your money doesn't go to a scammer, don't trust the caller ID. I think I've mentioned this before to this group. Scammers are using, and you probably know this, scammers are using technology that can make the name, any name or number appear on the caller ID. So don't rely on the caller ID to give you the right information. Make sure that the charity's exact name, or what is the charity's exact name, and verify it, because sometimes there are charities or individuals who might not be, or might be trying to take money from you. They might use names that sound like a real charity or sound like a legitimate charity. So one way to research and check for these things is to go to ftc.gov/charity. You're going to find links there to some of the websites that you can use to check a charity and see where the money is going. You can also call or visit the charity's website directly, ask them how much of the donation is going to the programs that you care about. They should be able to give you that information. And keep in mind that the safest way to donate is by credit card or by check. Again, if someone tells you that the only way to pay is with cryptocurrency, payment app, gift card, wiring money, it's likely a scam. It's not a real charity, because a real charity will take different forms of payments. They will not just tell you to pay a certain way. Also, pay attention to who's asking for money and who's going to be getting the money. So if you're sent to a crowdfunding page, know that the money will go directly to the organizer, and those donations are not tax deductible. So keep that in mind if you're, getting a text message from a friend or from someone that that is, sort of collecting money for a cause. Keep in mind that the organizer and will first get the money, and then, do you trust this person to send that money to the cause that you're wanting to support? Now let's talk about what happens if we wind up paying a scammer. Sometimes, no matter how careful we are, it happens. And if that is the case, the most important thing to do is to act as quickly as possible. Start by contacting the company that you used to send the money. Tell them that it was fraud and that you want their help to get your money back, or to try to get your money back. If you act as soon as you realize that you paid a scammer, and depending on how you paid, you might be able to recover at least some of your money. So it's worth giving it a try. And where do you report fraud? Well, this is really important to fight scams, because scammers don't just scam one person, they scam a lot of people. So if you see or experience a fraud, scam, or any bad business practice, we ask that you please report it to the FTC. Every time that you file a report with us, you just giving us part of a piece of the puzzle that helps us to put together cases to try to stop scammers, and also helps us alert other people about the current trends. And in just a few short steps, you can report fraud in English at reportfraud.ftc.gov. reportfraud.ftc.gov, and in Spanish at reportfraude.ftc.gov. You can also report in other languages. And not everyone may feel comfortable providing information to a government database, but people can submit the report anonymously through the website, or you can also work with an advocate or someone else who can help file a report on your behalf or on behalf of someone else. And I've been talking about how scammers want our money, but they also want personal financial information to commit identity theft. Every year, identity theft is one of the top problems reported to the FTC. And identity theft happens when someone's using your information without your permission to do things that benefit themselves, like, buying things with your credit cards, getting new credit under your name, maybe buying a phone or getting a gas account in your name, using your health insurance to get medical care, getting unemployment benefits or other benefits. They might even use your information to get a job, to steal a tax refund, and they might even pretend to be you if they get in trouble with the law. So it can be a problem. But there are steps, again, that you can take to protect your information. We can all take these steps to protect our information, in fact. And one is to keep important documents in a safe place. Things like your birth certificate, financial statement, under lock and key if you have a safe box if possible. If you're throwing any statements away, make sure that you shred them first. Don't carry things like your social security card in your wallet. Keep it locked away. Don't share information with anyone who contacts you unexpectedly. We talked about that. And use passwords that are hard to guess. And whenever possible, use two-factor authentication. That adds another layer of security and verification when you sign into some of your accounts. These are all small steps, but they can make a really big difference. And spotting the signs of identity theft early on can help you act quickly. So there are a few more things that you can do and look out for. The other thing is to read your bills and do that regularly. Check to see if there are any charges there, things that you didn't buy, or maybe withdrawals that you didn't make. I tell my mom to do this all the time, that she has to check her statements because you could see there that things that maybe could be a sign of identity theft, and you can catch it early and get money back if you report it right away. Also, check your mail. Maybe you stop getting a bill, or you get a bill for an account that you don't recognize. That might be a sign that someone may have stolen your identity. And try to get your credit report at least once a year at annualcreditreport.com. You can actually get a free copy every week if you choose to from the 3 credit bureaus, Experian, TransUnion, Equifax. And look at the report and see, again, if there are things there that you don't recognize. They could be a mistake, and you can have those corrected, but they could also be signs of identity theft. So it's important to check those regularly. And in addition to all the advice I've just shared about you can protect yourself from identity theft, I'm going to tell you that the number one thing that you can do to protect yourself is to freeze your credit to protect against unauthorized access. It's something that you can do right after this presentation to make it harder on thieves to open accounts in your name. While you have a credit freeze in place on your credit report, nobody can open a new account in your name, not even yourself. You can place a freeze by contacting each of the 3 credit bureaus, TransUnion, Equifax, Experian, and at ftc.gov/credit freeze, you'll find the contact information, also more details on the process, which is free to put the freeze and also to lift it. To set up the freeze, you're going to need to provide some identification to verify your identification, including your social security number at the site of the credit bureau. So the credit bureau, the credit freeze won't affect your credit or your current credit cards. But if you need to apply for new credit, or maybe rent an apartment or buy insurance, make any new transactions, that's when you're going to have to reach out to the credit agency and lift that credit freeze temporarily while they check your credit, and then put the freeze back on once they have checked your credit. Now, if you find out that someone is using your information, or hopefully we're hoping that this doesn't happen, but if it does, identitytheft.gov is where you can go to report it, and also to get a personalized step-by-step recovery plan. To report in Spanish, you can go to robodeidentidad.gov, and you can also report in other languages. And I think I've told you this before, but we consider all of you part of our fraud fighting network. People pay more attention to information and advice that comes from someone that they know and trust. So we hope that you're going to share what you learned today and the materials that I'm going to tell you about with other people that you're in touch with. And I'm going to start with our Pass It On consumer education materials. These are designed to help you and people that you talk to feel more confident starting a conversation and sharing what you know about scams. The materials include fact sheets, bookmarks, online articles, videos, presentations. If you do, maybe some of you talk to groups of people, you might be able to use one of our presentations. And the topics range from investment scams, health insurance scams, tech support impersonators, and some of the scams that I just covered. All of our content is in the public domain, so there's no copyright, no need to worry about it or ask us for permission. You can just use it, share it on social media. You can include them in your bulletins or share them with friends or people that couldn't make it to the presentation today. And then if you want to order materials in print, ftc.gov/bulk order is where you can place those orders for free. And also we will ship them to you for free as well. Now, earlier I talked about having an action plan, and here's the new tool that the FTC just launched that can help you and the people that you care about avoid scams. You heard me say that scammers tell all kinds of stories to try to get you to panic. Scammers want you to, be in a hurry, panic, and that way, whatever they tell you to do, you're not going to have time to think or check with someone who might intervene. So that's where this plan, how I'll avoid a scam, my action plan, is going to help. You can use it to make a list of people that you trust, maybe your friend, a neighbor, daughter, grandson, anybody that you can reach out to if you think that, you might be dealing with a scammer. You can also make a list of the companies that you typically do business with, like your bank, online shopping sites, or your credit card companies. That way, you have all this information handy in case something happens, so that you know how to reach out to them and verify information, and you can reach them directly that way if you're worried that there's a problem with one of your accounts. You can find a PDF to print on, and also order free copies at consumer.gov/action plan. Please share this with your friends, family, with your communities. I know I'm making this list. I'm helping my mother make this list so she can have it handy. She has in the past reached out to me when she gets, one of these weird text messages and stuff. So I want to make sure that, everybody, if you want to put my email address, I'm going to be sharing later on that list, please feel free. As I mentioned earlier, the best defense against unwanted calls is call blocking. So if you have any in-person gatherings or groups of friends or relatives that you want to share this information with, what you see on the screen is available in print. You can order them online, and this is, sort of the step-by-step on how to stop unwanted calls on your cell phone or at home. And they're available in English and Spanish at ftc.gov/bulk order is where you can order them. And here we go. And here's another resource that you can share as well to help people understand the credit freezes that I told you about and how they can use them to protect themselves against identity theft. The front of the card that you see on the slide, it's in the back has all the contact information on how to set up the freeze, how to contact the credit bureaus. And you can order those at ftc.gov/bulk order, or if you want to just share it online, you go to ftc.gov/credit freeze. And I also want to put Identity Theft Awareness Week on your radar. This is coming up. It's during the week of January 26th to the 30th. And during this week that we call Identity Theft Awareness Week, the FTC hosts a range of events, and they're all about spotting, avoiding, and recovering from identity theft. So if you're interested in attending an event, or if you want to set up your own event and you want to tell us about it and have us posted so you have people going to your event, you can go to the website ftc.gov/ID Theft Week, see more information. But if you have any questions about this, please reach out to me. I'll share my information shortly. And as John was saying before, scams are, keep changing. So we want to stay in touch and keep you updated on the latest consumer issues. The best way to do that is to sign up for our consumer alerts at ftc.gov/consumer alerts. Or if you want to get them in Spanish, it's ftc.gov/alertas de consumidor. You're going to get, if you sign up to get these alerts, you'll get about 2-3 emails a week with information and advice on the newest variations of these scams and some FTC actions. They're very short. They're about 300 words or less. And the alerts are very easy to share by email or on social media so that you can help other people, avoid the scams.